So welcome to another video here at Back to Classics, and today is all about the Ducati Cucciolo. Yes, this is a real Cucciolo. The 48cc beginnings of Ducati as a motorcycle manufacturer. So in this video we'll tell you all about the history behind it, historic significance as being the first Ducati motorcycle, or moped if you want to call it, but also how this particular Cucciolo ended up here in our workshop. So the historic background of the Cucciolo. In fact, it is very linked to Ducati as a motorcycle manufacturer, because it was founded in 1926 not at all as a motorcycle manufacturer, but in fact a company making all kinds of electrical components and appliances. They made vacuum tubes, they made radios, they made electric razors, film projectors, cameras, all sorts of stuff, and in fact it was very successful in doing that. It had a workforce of around 12,000 people working in the 1930s, and with that it was one of the largest companies in Italy at the time. That changed in the war years, because in 1944 Allied forces bombed the factory facilities in Borgo Panigale, and effectively, that made an end to Ducati as a company, because they were not able to produce anything after that. So the war was very disruptive for Ducati as a company, and they were actually without anything to do after the war. During the war, in Turin, there was this guy, Aldo Farinelli, who was actually a lawyer and a writer, and he came up with an idea that soon there would be a huge demand for transportation in post-war Italy. And already during the war he made some plans about an engine, a little engine that could be clipped onto a bicycle frame, and effectively creating a moped that way. So it was a very nice design that he had, and in fact he had a prototype running in the war years, during the war actually, and he called it the Cucciolo, because that's also Italian for puppy dog, and he named it after a puppy dog because it made this yapping sound when the engine was running, mimicking a Cucciolo, a puppy dog. He went with his design to a company called Siata, which was also based in Turin, and these guys were famous for developing racing car engines and other components, racing cars. In fact, they were the original designer of the V8 engine Fiat used in their Otto V later on. So a known company that was developing some very, very nice racing engines. They saw potential in that design made by Farinelli, and they took it upon them to actually produce that engine right after the war years. So already in 1945, the first Siata-made Cucciolo engines were already delivered to the market. And it was quite successful, because indeed Farinelli had it right, because there was a huge demand for transportation after the war years. There was nothing about it was working anymore. And people going to work, people going to their things around town, they could really use a simple form of transportation. But Siata had a problem. They didn't have the production capacity to up the production to the demand that was there. So coincidentally, the link was made with Ducati, because they had this workforce, and they were trying to set up their company again after the war, and that is why Ducati took it on to actually produce these engines. So after a few years production at Siata, Ducati took it on in 1946 to start producing these little engines. And that became very, very successful, because only in a few years' time they sold around 250,000 of these little engines. They were sold as a package, so there was an engine in there, a little fuel tank, and it was effectively a sort of a do-it-yourself package, most of the time going to the local bicycle shop, where the bicycle shop then fitted the engine to an existing bicycle frame, and effectively creating a moped with a clip-on engine that way. Of course, there were various outlets that did that. You had your local bicycle shop, but there were also companies that were offering complete bikes, so a complete rolling chassis with an engine already fitted. And again, they were hugely successful. It started Ducati as a motorcycle manufacturer, and later on they developed it further into a 60cc version, and effectively making their first motorcycles, complete motorcycles, with their own frame, their own rolling chassis, and that became the Cucciolo success. And it laid, of course, the basis for Ducati as a motorcycle manufacturer later on, when they were, of course, going to be involved in racing, and employed Fabio Taglioni later on to create the Mariana, and was very successful in that area as well, and effectively started the whole company that we know today as the racing pedigree that Ducati now has. So we'll put up a link to the video we made about the Mariana, which is closely linked, or at least closely after the success of the Cucciolo. And for now, we're going to focus our attention to the Cucciolo a little more. So this 1948, we think, Cucciolo, it was brought to us by a client who bought it the way it is now, but it was completely apart, and someone had started with the restoration already a few years ago, probably, but never came to finishing this bike. So the first thing we did was we unpacked all the boxes. Engine was still together, so we haven't touched that. But we built up the entire chassis to see how things go together and what things are missing. And you have to bear in mind that no two Cucciolos are the same, because as I explained, your local bicycle shop built a motorcycle for you, or a moped for you, 48cc obviously, based on the thing Ducati supplied, so that's only the engine, but then every individual manufacturer then made their own interpretation of how the Cucciolo should be put together. This actually is one of the more luxuriously designed Cucciolos. It has front suspension, it has rear suspension, and we also find in the rear hub a set of gears. We see that often on bicycles, of course, with the engine having 2 gears and the hub having 2 extra gears. So it's a 4-gear Cucciolo this. So that sets it apart from many others. But there are some questions as to how we operate this bike. There is a lever on the steering, on the handlebar here, operating as we see 3 positions. So that would obviously be for the gear change. But how actually the gear change for the hub is, there's no location on the bike to change gear. So we need to construct that in a way. Also missing is a lot of minor parts. We're going to have to fabricate, because obviously there's no such thing as any part dealer, or in fact even a part catalog we can link to as to how this bike was originally fitted together. So it's a lot of fabrication going to be involved in this project, as well as a lot of work getting this up and running again. So in general, we can say it's a very nice project, because we are involved professionally for the first time at least. We have some experience with a Cucciolo, but not very much. So professionally, it is a good thing to be involved with the very first of the Ducatis. Of course, we are much more on the overhead cam bikes, especially the bevel drive bikes, the singles and the twins, and not so much the pushrod engines, and not so much the Cucciolo. But for this instance, we made an exception, and we thought, well, this is a very nice project we would like to take on and get it out on YouTube as well. So, well, we can show you the bike in a little bit more detail now, and perhaps explain some details a little further. So here you see the infamous Cucciolo engine made by Ducati, the first ever motorcycle engine produced by Ducati. It's a 48cc pull rod engine. The camshaft is actually pulling on the springed valves. It's an overhead valve design. So that's unusual for a 48cc moped engine, but that's obviously what makes it so special and very nice to operate. Of course, it has a pedal start mechanism. There was also a version with a with pedal gear shift. That is not what this is. This is the T2 type Cucciolo engine, which has which is a pull rod system for the gear change. So going to the other side of the engine, here you can see the external flywheel with the name Cucciolo imprinted on there, and the tiny little Weber carburetor also fitted there. The pedals are different, left and right, so we have to address that. Definitely this left one has been changed at some point. But that is how the engine. And here you can see the operating system for the gear change. This is the pull rod system, where you have the positions for the gear change. So that is something that we need to fabricate, in fact, because the whole of the gear change mechanism is missing. Front wheel that had been restored at some point. So that is put together very nicely, in fact, as well as the front brake hub. But the actuating arm is something that we need to address, as well as the stabilizer, because there's no way to fit that brake plate to the front fork, which should be in place somewhere. So that's also something that is going to be needed to be fabricated soon. Front fork, it's not hydraulic, but there are springs in there, so it has a little bit of suspension. We have to address the workings of that, but at least all the parts are there. Beautiful little headlight by CEV. We have to discuss whether this should be chrome plated or perhaps painted in the same blue color scheme as the rest of the bike. And that lovely tiny little horn that's just behind the headlight. Also something we need to get going, because there's no sound coming from there, although it's beautifully painted. Then another big mystery is how the handlebar is fitted to the front fork. You see a lot of duct tape there just to hold it in place, but there are definitely parts missing there to get it fixed to the front fork. So again, that needs to be fabricated. The handlebar itself, we think, is original for the bike, especially with all the levers on there in brass, which would probably be chrome plated as well. So that's something that's going to be addressed. So the fuel tank, which is in very good and nice condition, chrome as well. Although the paint, because it had been painted probably a few years ago and was left under the workbench, so there are some chips and scratches on the paint. So we need to take that off as well. So we have to see how we go about with that. We think the saddle is the original one still, but it can use a little bit of upholstery, as you can see. The whole arrangement around the rear wheel, it has a plunger type of suspension in the rear. Again, only springs, there's no hydraulics in there, but that needs to be addressed as well. This whole system takes the rear mudguard with it, so that stays with the suspended wheel, as well as the baggage carrier and the beautiful little tail light, which also has a piece missing bottom left corner. That'll be hard to replace probably, so have to make up for something. But again, at least for the suspension parts, these are all there. We think that the suspension rod had been replaced at some point, so we probably have to fabricate a little bit there as well, because the mudguard is a little bit too high compared to the rear wheel. So that's another thing that needs to be addressed. Then again, the gear change mechanism for the rear hub. Well, there are some parts there, but we also see that a lot of parts are missing. So that needs, a lot of parts that will need to be fabricated there as well to make that going, as well as a lever somewhere on the bike to operate it. Nothing to be found there. So again, parts are missing. And then there's this beautifully formed exhaust on the engine. almost made like a musical instrument. Again, with some brackets missing probably. You see this bracket going to nowhere, and there's a valve in there to damp the sound a little bit. But again, that needs to be operated in some way, and we don't see anything with it to operate that little valve. So still a lot of question marks actually on this project, and it makes it particularly hard because, as I said, there's no parts list or anything about it where we can turn to see how we can address this. So we have to make it up as we go along, but that's actually going to be the first job in this project, is to get all the parts sorted and made before we can move on and take it apart and start to restore all the individual parts. So we got a lot of work to do here, as you can see. It's far from finished, but of course this is the initial start of this project. And we will be involving you on YouTube along with this project, making a few episodes before we probably can take it out on the road and take it for a ride. So that concludes this video here, part 1 of the series on the Cucciolo restoration. We hope you liked it. If you like this t-shirt that I'm wearing, be sure to check them out in our online store. We'll include a link. It's a t-shirt of a 750 Super Sport, green frame. We have them available in 2 colors, so if you want to support this channel, be sure to check out these t-shirts that we have. For now, we thank you very much for watching. Toodaloo-dokie. See you next time.